take them toward self-reliance right now, that's going to be the most motivating factor for most people. And self-reliance could mean, you've got a stocked up pantry and freezer and fridge full of food. That's a sense of self-reliance. We can make it. I know my family's good for months right now, the way we're stocked up. But you got to apply that same mentality to whatever it is that you're offering your audience.
You're listening to Business Lunch with Roland Frasier. This is your seat at the table.
Hey, Mr. P, what's happening? What are you going to talk about today?
I want to show people 3 things that we're finding right now in our business and with the partnerships that I'm involved in that are really working in the way that we're communicating, the offers that we're making for both customer acquisition, actually in some cases more sales, a lot better customer acquisition, and a lot of refund and chargeback mitigation. So help you keep the money you got, make a little more of it, during these times, and kind of how to communicate with people, meet them where they are. So the first thing is, and I've got particular expertise at this, I'm not so proud of it, but I've been working with this survival crowd now for the last 7 years now. So I really understand their mindset, better than I used to. And right now, they were 20%, 30% of the audience. Right now, they're making up 99% of the audience. I mean, almost everybody out there right now is in a survival mindset. So when you begin to talk to them, there are 3 things that you really should concentrate on. And I think you can turn all of these to your benefit, right? So people in survival with survival mindsets, they want to hold on very tightly to what they have. They don't want to let that go no matter what. They're afraid to risk much of what they have in their nest egg. So this is a really good time for, in my opinion, to get people into your stratosphere. It's a great time for acquisition. So they're going to be tight, whether they're rich or not. I'm watching every penny I spend right now. Saying I don't want to be like that, right? But I'm really paying attention to what I'm spending money on. I find myself subconsciously going, I don't know if I need 2 of those or not right now, or I better not buy this guitar right now, And I could buy 1,000 guitars and fill the room with them. It's just a psychological thing, and I think that's going to be around for a little while. I think that'll fade soon enough. So, survival mindset is number 1. They want to stock up. So if you're selling physical products especially, they want to stock up. They want to take opportunity to buy while things are cheap. And it's not just eggs and milk and frozen foods. It's anything that they feel like, because they feel like they're probably going to be tight on money for a while. So if they can get a bargain now and take advantage, just like you guys would all take advantage of a great deal right now, and you would see it as an opportunity, you got to kind of present some things that way. So they want to stock up. 2, they want to back up. They want a backup plan. And this is where anybody selling education right now, I think, wins. People have time to consume education right now. They're wanting a backup plan and a backup plan for that backup plan. So it's a really good time to acquire leads. So they want to stockpile. They want to stock up. They want to back up. So think about someone who's going through divorce, or an 18-year-old kid getting kicked out of the house or leaving the nest, or somebody who's just lost a spouse. People instantly go into survival mode, and they want to stock up. They want to hold on to what they got, stock up, get a backup plan or second career or whatever they can do to hustle, because their goal is self-reliance. They don't want to be reliant on that person again, or a person like that, or that job again, or that system again, because they've seen the breakdown of it. So if you can take them toward self-reliance right now, that's going to be the most motivating factor for most people. And self-reliance could mean, you've got a stocked up pantry and freezer and fridge full of food. That's a sense of self-reliance. We can make it. I know my family's good for months right now, the way we're stocked up. But you got to apply that same mentality to whatever it is that you're offering your audience. And we can talk about that. I know it's a little more challenging with some of you guys that own agencies and you're serving B2B, but if that's the case, you need to impart these ideas and ideals down to your clients so they can have confidence in the market again. I've known Ryan for a really long time, and he said one of the smartest things I've ever heard him say yesterday, that marketing is a conveyance of confidence. It's sharing your confidence with other people. I thought it was one of the smartest things I've ever heard anybody say in the marketing space. Okay, so that's number one. So just think about that in your messaging and don't get off of it. I think you have to address the elephant in the room. I think pretending not to talk about it in the situation that we're all in, the conditions right now, not only is not good for your business, it would seem to most people to be incredibly insensitive, in my opinion. So if your thing is, well, we're just not going to talk about any of this right now because everybody's hearing bad enough news all over. You don't have to always have bad news to talk about. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, risk mitigation, chargeback mitigation, and audience building in this time are done through what I would like to, instead of saying communities, what happens in trauma? What happens when people are traumatized, when they go through a traumatic experience? They stock up, they back up, they try to get self-reliant, and they go to support groups. So right now, you guys are in one, right? Whether you know it or not. We're all sitting here right now supporting one another. And I think right now, a lot of your clients just want to be talked through it. I really believe that's true. They just want to hear some positive news that it's going to be okay, that there's a way to reposition, because they don't know how to reposition. And for your guys that own agencies, this is where you shine and bring value above and beyond what you do. So you need to take notes from here and do exactly the same thing back down to your, to your clients, and you guys that are gurus back to your customers, and to whomever. Your audience wants to hear it's going to be okay. And I'll tell you, it's been said of Holocaust survivors and people that are shipwrecked and all sorts of things. Nothing bonds people together like crisis, trauma, being in a trauma together. If you're in an earthquake with somebody, you're never going to forget who was in that room with you when that happened. And we're in an earthquake of sorts right now. So if you're hiding from everybody and not communing with them, you're going to have a lesser relationship with them after this is all over than you would have the other. At Agora right now, at the Agora company, so I'm a partner with Agora in one of my businesses, and I've gotten really deeply involved in the way the Agora business is run. Agora is running every other day in some markets, basically conference calls, support calls. Just set up a conference call line. It doesn't have to be fancy. In fact, I believe that a conference call line will probably get a higher participation than one of these will, depending on the tech level of your audience. If you've got, at Agora, we have an older audience with a lower tech level. So they can pick up their phone, dial a phone number, and hit an extension. And then they're just, boom, they're in the teleconference, and they get to hear and they get to open up and ask questions. So that's one. Watch parties have become a big deal because you can make a video and then upload it to the watch party, and it's pretty easy to read about them and see how to do them. But the cool thing about a watch party versus a live is that you can, on the watch party, you can record, then upload the thing to be watched. You can upload other interviews. You can do a whole show. You can do a 3-hour watch party of linked together videos and be there in the chat live talking to people and having a conversation going on while the video is playing. So it gives you a way to, they can be listening to you or listening to your guest, but actually doing one-on-one communication with you in a chat channel. So, no matter how you do it, the technology is irrelevant. The secret is right now, I was joking with a friend of mine today, but I said, people need to go to church. I mean, they need to be comforted by someone. They need to be comforted in a group setting is usually better than an individual setting for that comfort. Because if a few people in your group come, man, I feel so much better, and I didn't think of it that way. And then people start talking to one another, and you'll build that sense of community, not only from you to them, but to them to the community. So the stick to the community should be much, much better. Third, people desperately need strong leadership right now. They need confident leaders that they can look up to. They need people that they can admire. And most of you guys, in one way or another, to your audience, are that. You know, if you're an agency owner, They hired you because they admire your skill above their own. If you're a guru, they certainly admire you. Strong leadership comes down to those 5 things that I always talk about. I'm going to bore you with them one more time. If you can help people to support their dreams, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, justify their previous failures, and cast stones at their enemies, they will follow you to the end of the earth. And there's no better time to do it than right now. Every other crisis in history, right after 9/11, church attendance went nuts. Everybody went to church because they were looking for community and support. But there's no church right now. Even if you're a religious person, you can't physically go and commune. So people are desperate for community. And if you give it to them right now, you're going to be way ahead when this thing slingshots around. And as soon as we crest and we start seeing some light, I think right now everybody's driving in a fog with a 1-foot visibility. As soon as they can see out 6 feet or 10 feet, they don't need to see to the coast. They're going to start coming back around. It's seeing you give back and being generous, at a time, not giving their money away, giving your money away, giving your stuff away, giving your support away. That says more than anything else that you have confidence, that you're not afraid. Give some money to charity, give some money to people in your group that need it, that are desperate for something. Raise some money, match it, do whatever you can to show people that you're not only compassionate, but not afraid of the long-term future, right? I think all of us can afford to spend a couple of bucks. Okay. 4th, this is a great time to get active and get efficient. A buddy of mine posted a thing on Facebook the other day. He said, I bet all you non-hustling sons are hustling now, aren't you? And it's time to hustle. This is a great time to hustle. So use the time wisely. I'll get to that in a second. But right now, think about, a lot of you, I know a lot of you guys, a lot of you are really one-trick ponies. You're selling with one modality. You're selling one thing to one audience in one modality with one traffic source. I would say that makes up 50, 60% of even really successful people like you guys, right? We opened up YouTube this year as our second big traffic source. And we're up to 61% of our 62% of our traffic right now is coming from YouTube, where we were basically 100% Facebook and 100% in that basket. So if Facebook had dropped a hammer on us, we'd have been in really, really, really big trouble. YouTube's great, a lot more flexibility. It was hard to figure out, but we figured it out. Now we have 2 big channels. Now we're opening up Google Display, the DSP networks, and even native. So, and this crisis is telling me, man, you better get diversified because nothing is ever as sure as you think it is. So more channels, more modalities. I know that some of you guys, I was at, right before everything shut down, I was in Washington, D.C. I went to WebinarCon and spoke. And I'm looking at this room full of people. There's 150 people in this room. The only way they know how to sell is via webinar. If they can't sell by webinar, they're done, right? They haven't built another mode of selling. So direct mail is working again, by the way, in a pretty big way at some of the financial divisions. Direct mail is beginning to pay off again because online advertising costs are going up 30% a year, and direct mail is staying relatively flat. And 5 years ago, online was more efficient than direct mail. That's beginning to turn again, and it's also turning in radio and television. You buy radio and television right now, really, and right now especially, and radio and TV is free. Radio is cheap right now. I'm getting calls for radio that's just ridiculous for national radio. So more modes of selling, more traffic lines. Those are the positives. On the cost, drill through your tools and things that you're spending. A lot of you guys, if you're like me, are getting killed $89 a month at a time. You got credit cards loaded up with recurring tools that you're not using. We buy software now like we buy exercise machines. We think that buying the software is going to make us skinny. So, we've moved, I think we're down to 9 regular employees in our group right now. We moved almost everything else offshore to managed outsourcing. And that's been a really good move for us. It takes a little training on the front, but on the back, it allows us to become really efficient and really nimble. So that's the third thing, get really efficient. And the last thing is more, just a little harder to describe, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared through this process. I'd be total. Everybody's scared. I don't give a how much they say. Everybody's a little scared. For most of us, especially, that's a good thing. Use the hunger, right? So many of you guys, me, a lot of people I know, sitting around fat and happy, going, yeah, I'm gonna go do that new thing here pretty soon. Anyway, one of these days I'm gonna do that. I got this really good idea, and just more ideas. You buy more if you're like me. For every time you get one, you buy 3 domain names for it, and then tomorrow you get 3 more ideas, right? And you're gonna execute on them someday. Well, guess what? It's freaking someday, right? Right now it's someday. So use that hunger and that little bit of fear that's in your gut right now to get your ass up off Netflix and do those things that you needed to do. I'm hustling my off right now. And you know what? I'm having fun again. It's really a lot of fun. I'm really hustling. And all of a sudden it's become fun again. And that sounds, I hate that a terrible thing like this has to happen to get me off my ass, but I'm glad that it did. No matter what business you're in, there's going to be a cleansing. Some people are going to get out of those businesses. Your competitors are going to go away or flip out on inside themselves. And you're going to come out of the other side of this thing confident and strong and had the staying power to run it out. Ryan and I did, and Roland done well in digital marketer, largely because we've just been around longer than anybody else. It's just, we've seen them come, we've seen them go. We rode out the storms when a lot of people folded up their tents and went home.